Hello and welcome to Anywhere But Here. This is episode 317. I'm Ant. Don't worry, Tom is on this episode. He just wasn't around for the intro. You can find us at abhpod.com. On that page there will be an Amazon banner. If you click that banner you'll get taken to Amazon. Funnily enough, if you use that banner to go to Amazon and do your shopping, we will get 5% of your basket, anything you spend on there. It doesn't change your shopping experience at all. We just get 5% of their profits. It goes to us to help with our hosting. Alternatively, just above that there is a Patreon banner. If you go through that you'll get taken to our Patreon where you can subscribe for $1 a month, £1 a month. I'm never sure what the currency actually is, but that gives you extra content, so you can get After the Podcast, which are exclusive to our patrons. You will get spoiler casts whenever we record them. You don't have to wait for them to come out on the main feed. You get them as we record them. Occasionally we do YouTube content. You get that early as well. You'll get this main episode without this intro, and you can get video versions of these podcasts as well. On this episode, Tom and I discuss the trials and tribulations we've been facing in the last couple of weeks. They're very different from each other, but lead to interesting conversations. First, though, we talk about Russia and Ukraine. I don't think there's much else to talk about, really, at the minute, is there? Enjoy.
Don't you, mate? Don't you just kind of remember back fondly to when the only threat in the world was a microscopic virus? What halcyon days they were.
Yeah, when all we had to worry about was a fucking plague.
Yeah. Oh man. The war still hasn't stopped.
It doesn't show any signs either. No. There was smatterings of, they're having meetings, maybe something's going to happen, and Putin's like, no, I'm not stopping.
Yeah.
I both love and hate the internet in equal measure, and I think that's something we've always said anyway.
Yeah.
But you know, I love the camaraderie of it. Probably not the best use. Probably not the best term to use at the minute, is it, comrade? But I love how everyone sort of pulls together, and you see all the support for Ukraine and people openly speaking out against the war. I absolutely love it, and I love the fact we can keep on top of it. We know exactly what's going on and stuff like that. But then I hate, and I love, I suppose, like I've seen things where people are sort of like make memes and stuff like that, and that's good because it does lighten the mood. It's a coping mechanism, but at the same time, I think en masse, like for a majority of people, they will see that and it sort of reduces the threat. I don't think people actually realise that it's like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's actually a war, there's actually people dying, and then people are making jokey things like as a show of solidarity, but at the same time it's like we're separated, we're far removed from it, we're all laughing about all these memes, yet there's like a care home for disabled people that's just been bombed, and people have died and people are trapped, and and it's the way people with North Korea, it was very different. Because they appear to be a threat, but I don't think anyone believed they actually were as much of a threat. So people making light of that was funny. But Russia is like a real threat. Like I've seen, like 3D printing is this big thing. Like people have 3D printers as hobbies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there's Thingiverse where you can download models, print them for yourself. And one that I've seen is like a poo emoji, and on the back it's Putin's head.
Right, okay.
Sort of like think Voldemort, but a pile of shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, which is funny. Like, it's a really funny, like, sort of thing, but at the same time, it's going to piss him off, and it lessens the threat.
Is it though? Because I don't think he's looking at things like that.
Maybe not.
Like this is the thing. Like I don't think anything like that will get through to him. And like, I think he's an intelligent person and will be able to see these things for what they are, which is, mockery in a form of kind of self-reflection almost,
Yeah.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. I think the response that has come from the public. I mean, I know personally one person who's gone out to the Ukraine to help. Yeah, lead singer of Sham 69.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Tim has gone out there to help in some capacity. I think in a humanitarian capacity, although he does have links to the army as a kind of training instructor. So perhaps in a military role as well, but I think more humanitarian. But also there's a podcaster that I listen to who does music interviews and stuff like that. And he owns an alternative club in Essex called the Pink Toothbrush.
Right.
The guy's name's Stuart Whiffin, and he presents Off the Beat and Track podcast, and a couple of others. But yeah, he's loaded up a transit van full of supplies and is currently in Poland. He left 2 days ago and is now in Poland handing out supplies and stuff. And I think like it's interesting. I was talking to Joe about it last night. Like, I think it's heartening to see the reaction of regular people, because it's been basically 2 generations of Europeans have grown up without conflict in our backyard. Though there have been wars that we have also been involved in elsewhere in the world, they are not a threat to the stability of our continent necessarily. And because there hasn't been, I think because there hasn't been a European war or on the doorstep of Europe for the best part of 100 years. People don't know how to react, but what people are doing, I think, is reacting really well. Like something like 150 million was raised in this country alone in the first week of the conflict or something. And there are loads of people, you see it on the local news every night. There's people loading up camper vans and transits and stuff and setting out on the Eurotunnel.
I mean, there's community centre like YMCA in Tovel has got a collection going, and and there's going to be people driving it out. And the thing, and it's one of those things. It's great to see the country getting together to do this, to provide aid. Isn't that what our government's for? As well,
it is, but like, and they are. I'm sure they are trying to go about things as diplomatically as possible. There is international aid efforts as well, but I think it's and the government is part of international contributions through the Red Cross and other services like that. They are involved. They're not doing anything.
I know they're doing. I know they are doing stuff, but like you see that there is a bigger drive from just like local, like
But what I'm saying is that like rather than, because we can't conscript, no one can conscript into the army because we're not allowed to fight in this war. What they are doing instead is doing what they can. Do you know what I mean? Like that. That's not to say that the government is. I'm not criticizing the government. Fuck the government. No. They're an inept bunch of cunts anyway. But like, and they should be doing more.
But they are doing something.
But they're doing what they can within the means. And I'm sure there's a lot of shady shit going on. Like I'm not defending them. I'm not pillorying them either. But like, what I take from it is the heartening thing. Of normal people taking stuff into their own hands,
it is,
and that's what I want to focus on rather than.
And to be fair, like you say, there is only so much the government can do because
of the situation itself.
If they do too much, that could be seen as taking sides or threats, and then there could be retaliation. So I do get that.
A Maidstone MP's son, who was ex-Marine, Royal Marines, so ex-commando, basically. He went out there this week to fight alongside the Ukrainian army, because the Ukrainian army have obviously called for international people who want to join the fight. They've kind of put a call out. Now, the UK government can't sanction it. So whatever happens to these people, if they come back to the UK afterwards and are part of the military, they will be subject to some sort of court-martialing.
Yes.
Because it's against, we're not supposed to be, people from the military are not supposed to be fighting in this war. But like this guy's a retired ex-Royal Marine, but still he's got affiliations and that in itself. But then, you know, you see there's Canadian troops out there, there's US troops out there, there's troops from loads of countries out there fighting.
I've seen like celebrities going out there and like sports people going out there and stuff like that as well. I think
especially Ukrainian as well. Like obviously you've had the Klitschko brothers and the other boxer Usyk. Obviously have gone home.
I mean, I can't remember who it was now, but there was a guy that went out there. You know, he left his wife and his child, and he was sort of like documenting the whole process. And I think he actually ended up getting killed while he was out there.
Oh, really?
But you know, it's something he wanted to do. And but no, you are right. Like the positive side of things should be the focus of it. For sure. And there is a huge amount of positive, and it's just what's really disturbing. I know we've said it before. It's just like the amount of support for Ukraine in Russia as well, like the Russian public. There's a lot of disturbing stuff as well, where a lot of Russians are just like blindly like, no, Putin's right.
Yeah, because
you know what's going on. Yeah, Putin's right. Like not understanding the full situation, but they just believe what they're seeing on the. Is it RTV?
RT is Russia Today, isn't it? Yes. I mean, that's been taken off the broadcasting network over here now. Because you know it's a tool of the state.
You don't want to be drumming up sort of like support within the UK.
Yeah, unlike the British Broadcasting Corporation, of course. Yeah. And this is the other thing, isn't it, that we were talking about last time, is that you don't really necessarily know exactly what to believe. I'd like to think that we're not being lied to and influenced in the same way, but who knows? What was I going to say? Yes. But yeah, there seems to be a split in Russia between young people who use the internet and know how to get around Russia's kind of slightly controlled, but not quite as controlled as China's internet, and kind of an older generation who only take their news through the television. Which is controlled. You know, you can't control the internet. You can try, but there are ways around it, and the young people have sinned through it.
The young people with, and not to sort of sit down to the older generation, but obviously the older generation are from a time when Russia was, probably at its worst, when people were completely brainwashed. What's the word I'm looking for? Like it was a proper dictatorship, conditioned, and this is where you get all your news, and this is the truth and stuff like that. Whereas younger people have more, not independent thought. What's the word I'm looking for?
Well, the thing is, like Russia has entered into the kind of capitalist society post Soviet Union in the same way that a lot of the Eastern European countries also have, and they've benefited from international trade and and global finance markets and stuff like that. But also that brings with itself the ability to look beyond your own borders for the first time in like generations. And that is what they've been seeing. They've like the economy as a whole. You look at the cities in these countries that were once, big brutalist, concrete structures everywhere. But you actually look at, the architecture in some of these Eastern European countries now, and they're vibrant, multicolored, like and skyscrapers, and they've got financial districts and things like that. It's not, they're not the same world that they were. But there are a lot of people that were brought up under Soviet rule who are, kind of still in that mindset. It's a shit. I've been kind of grappling in the last couple of weeks about like, is there any way that I can help? And there probably is, but am I bold enough to do it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is difficult. It's one of those things where you kind of wish you could do something, but I mean, like I'm obviously I'm not in a position where I can, because I need to work and I have to be actually within the UK and stuff to work, so limited to what we can do. But I think even the littlest effect, like, I mean, you've been sharing lots of things on Facebook, sort of like the full fact stuff, like just like, and even stuff like that helps, because somebody will click on it and go, oh, actually, maybe not. Just having this conversation, like, you know, and it doesn't go out to a huge number of people, but it allows people to think about it, and it sort of we have a discussion about it and stuff like that, and it just talking about it and stuff like that, I think helps. So yeah, limited to what we can do.
Yeah, but equally, like, you know, I'm certainly not going out there to fight. Because I'm not really about that.
No.
But yeah, there has been thought about like trying to join some charity or aid organization,
one of the collection points, or just anything.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, because there's just been like this feeling of helplessness, really. Like there's nothing we can do as a country. So what can you do as an individual, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Maybe watch this space. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair enough. Like you like you say, you could definitely go and volunteer at one of the collection places, or I don't know, go knock on some doors, say, "Oh, did you know there's a collection place down there?" You know, just let people know that there's somewhere they can donate if they want, and tell people what they can donate. And
because it doesn't seem like, I mean, we all kind of knew that this wasn't going to end quickly, but the longer it draws on, the more protracted it seems to look like it's going to get. Because I think, you know, we all know the Russians imagined that they were going to just walk in and the Ukrainians would like roll over.
And Ukraine would be absorbed into Russia.
But this is not the way, because, you know, they don't want to be oppressed again.
Yeah.
You know? And that's exactly what this is. So they're putting up a stiffer fight, which, you know, I mean, the ball's on some of these people.
Even just the president himself.
Yeah.
Like, he's incredible, what he's been doing.
Bearing in mind that like 10 years ago, he was a stand-up comedian.
I've seen some of the videos where he was like part of an improv troupe and stuff like that. And it's just bizarre that guy became, but you can see throughout his career, like the change in him, where he started becoming a bit more involved in politics, became a bit more serious, and then became, was he mayor or he was like a statesman or something?
Yeah, he started out in local politics and then has kind of risen.
But you
up.
see the rise as he goes up, and he just becomes more and more serious. And you're like, oh shit. Yeah, he didn't go from like, you're fired, to running the country. But he actually worked his way up.
Yeah. But yeah.
Can you imagine how awful it would have been if Trump was still president?
I don't know what would be happening, because obviously he was pals with Putin, wasn't he? You see, so I think the US would have been even more isolationist. I don't think you'd have heard a peep out of him. Or if you had, he'd have been praising Putin.
Condemning Ukraine. And
because I think I have seen various things where like he has been quoted as saying like it's a smart move by Putin.
I mean, politically, probably is. Like, politically, it probably is a smart move, but just because it's smart doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
You know, it would be a smart move for like the UK to invade every country on the planet and like, you know, be in control of everything. Yeah, it's a smart move, but it doesn't make it right. It's not going to happen. Not the way we are now. But you know what I mean? Like, yes, it does make sense to run, you know, have power over all of the countries. And
it seems to be that in the last week, he's kind of backtracked on calling President Putin smart.
Oh, really?
And is now shifting to kind of not really criticizing, but not really condemning either. Yeah, that seems to be the gist of the headlines over the last 2 weeks.
Fuck that man.
Bearing in mind he's running for president again.
Yeah, is he?
Yeah, because he's allowed to. But yeah, fingers crossed.
Oh gosh.
Don't want another 4 years of that idiot.
No, for sure.
But yeah, so that sucks. My biggest challenge of the last few months, though, has been sourcing an instrument for Joe.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. The trouble I've had with this, man.
Yeah.
I had a really good month in September 2021.
Yeah.
And I thought, she's put up with a lot from me, like, in the past, and she treats me quite often.
Yeah.
And it's annoying because I never have the money to do the same back. And so, like, I got a bit of a windfall in September. And so I was like, well, I'm going to buy her a 12 string. She'd made noises about kind of like wanting one.
A very interesting sounding instrument. Like, I would love one, but I've got no use for one.
Yeah.
Personally. So, like, that's why I've never invested in one. Like, I play one song. I used to play one song that needed a 12 string, and that was it.
Right,
Bon Jovi. I wanted Dead or Alive. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
It's the only reason I'd need a 12 string. And then I'd sit it down for everything else.
Yeah. See, she's a bit of a Pink Floyd fan, so there's a lot of kind of, a lot of prog uses 12 strings. Actually, we were watching REM last night as well. And
REM at the BBC?
Yeah. And
what it means to me. Sorry, that's what we did last night when we saw it. Started singing it as R-E-S-P-E-C-T. REM BBC. Anyway.
But Peter Buck plays 12 string on quite a lot of their big songs as well. And obviously what with both of us learning the mandolin at the moment as well, I
was saying that REM program, actually, it was quite a shock when I first turned it on and saw Michael Stipe with long hair.
Oh yeah. His early days in the 80s, where he's got like hair down halfway down his back in the ponytail.
But it was when it was loose. Like I've never had seen it when he had the little rat tail.
Yeah,
I'd seen that. I hadn't ever seen the big plait that he had or braid, and I'd never seen him with it down like that.
Yeah, there's not a lot.
I saw the rat tail.
Yeah, the rat tails. Well, I don't get those.
Yeah,
but
Anyway,
great. I love that band.
Yeah,
I can't believe it's been 11 years since they called it a day, though.
It's 11 years.
Yeah, 2011 was when they decided to break up the band.
Mad.
And also, I didn't realise that it was mainly the same four people through most of it as well. The drummer kind of dipped in and out.
Yeah,
in the kind of late 90s, and then I think he called it a day mid 2000s, but it was largely the four of them and a couple of stand-in musicians, which is quite rare for a band that's been around that long to not.
A band that's made it to that level as well, because I think it's that lifestyle.
There's a pressure.
Yeah, especially a band as big as REM, where they're constantly recording and touring and stuff like that. It's to maintain that level of commitment. I think it's difficult, very difficult.
But yeah, so I bought this. I bought this guitar back in September from a company that I've used quite often. And then a month passes, and they're like, "Oh, it'll be there in October." And I thought, well, that's not exactly what I wanted. I wanted it a little bit sooner than that, but COVID, supply chain issues, fine. October rolls around and they're like, "Oh, it's not going to be here till November." And I'm like, okay.
Is it ever going to be here?
And bearing in mind, this is a left-handed instrument because Joe is.
I wasn't sure if you wanted to mention that, because I was going to mention that, but I wasn't sure if the story.
Yeah.
That's why it's difficult to source.
Yeah, because they don't
12-string, because left-handed 12-string guitar.
There aren't men. There are a few. But they're not produced anywhere near as often as right-handed guitars, because, as we found out while watching The Wall last night, left-handed people only make up 10 to 12% of the entire global population.
Yeah, and that's it. So you've got that niche target group So you need
with
guitar
quite
players.
a niche instrument. Yeah,
you need guitar players who are left-handed who want to play a 12-string guitar.
Yeah,
like that's a very niche group of people. So,
but in September, the website said available.
Yeah.
So I ordered it. Anyway, it rolls around and I'm like, well, at least it'll be here for Christmas because, you know, it wasn't supposed to be a Christmas present, but I guess it's shaping up to be a Christmas present. December rolls around and they're like, oh, it won't be here till January. And I'm like, oh, fuck's sake. And I've been on the phone to them like 3 times.
Does Joe know that it's coming?
No.
This is still a surprise, right?
Okay. Yeah. Because she'd also asked for a mandolin for Christmas. So I was able to kind of cover a lot of what I was doing as
trying to get a left-handed mandolin.
Yeah. Which actually turned up through Amazon within like 3 days of being purchased.
Turns out left-handed mandolin players, not so niche.
There's only 3 makes of left-handed mandolin.
Oh, wow.
And the best of them is Stag, which I've always thought is quite a basic.
I thought Stag were budget,
Yeah. But they're the best of the lot that I could find. Again, I suppose left-handed mandolin players quite difficult to come by as well. Niche. So that was fine. But yeah, but I was like, well, if it comes at the beginning of January, like they're saying, that's her birthday. And I've been on the phone to them. And they're like, oh yeah, well, it shows that we're getting a consignment through from Martin, because I went for Martin because it's a premium brand. I wanted to buy something nice.
But I also imagine you're not going to get a lot of budget left-handed 12-string guitars.
I think they're out there, but I also don't want to buy budget.
No. No, obviously, but even mid-level,
but
because it's so niche, you think like it's probably not affordable for the lower end. But yeah.
Yeah. And I know it's like, you know, she doesn't play professionally or anything, but
it's still nice
it's nice to have. It's a present, it's a gift, it's a treat.
Mate, if you can afford it, why wouldn't you?
Exactly,
get something nice. So,
yeah. And I think like a lot of things, you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
And guitars like Martin are, you know, they're pretty good. Anyway, so yeah, they're talking about supply chain problems, but like I'm always being told, oh, we're getting a consignment. Well, the last thing I heard was in December. They were like, oh, we're getting a consignment in a week's time. There's supposed to be 1 or 2 on the shipment. And I'm like, okay, cool. So when in January they say we're not going to be able to get you until at least April of 2022, wow. I'm like, fuck you guys. You keep fucking lying to me. Like, I need to know directly now what's going on, or, you know, fuck off. And then they came back to me with like an email that was like, well, when you ordered it, it was available for order, not for sale. And I was like, no, it wasn't, because I look at these things. Like, I would never, ever buy something that was only available to order, especially on such a niche instrument.
Yeah.
Because I know that it will take fucking forever for a thing to get here.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately, work got ridiculous after the new year. Like, I've really had like very little free time, what with workload, and then also like, you know, there's been 2 bands that have been playing gigs in January, February and March. So I've had things to do, like, you know, practices and stuff like that. So there hasn't been a lot of time. So this week I was like, right, I've got a half a day I'm going to spend this morning. And this was Thursday morning.
Yeah.
I phoned up Martin direct. I went to the Denmark Street I phoned them and I was like, look, I've been given the runaround by Gear for Music for one of these left-handed X series 12 strings since September. They keep telling me it's going to be next month. Now they're saying it's not until April. So I just wanted to know from you, seeing as you are Martin.
Yeah.
Are there any in the country? And can I have one?
Yeah. Nice.
And the guy was really helpful. His name was Andy. And he was like, yeah, just let me check, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, you're in luck. There's one in this store right now.
Oh, wow.
I've just missed the delivery guy, the UPS guy, but I can send it out on Monday. I'd rather not send it out over the weekend to UPS because then it sits in a warehouse for the whole weekend, getting cold, and we don't want the wood to,
That's when you know. That's when you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Not like this Gear for Music one that's probably been on a shipment from China since God knows when. Yeah,
and so I was like, right, sold. Here's my credit card details. Bam, get it done, get it out to me. And then he was like, while we were on the phone buying it, he was like, oh, wait, hold on. The UPS guy is still here. Like, he's just he's sat outside, basically, kind of, I don't know, doing whatever with his inventory.
Yeah.
So he sent another bloke out to ask him if he would wait 5 minutes. Yeah. And so it got sent out that day. And I got it on Friday.
That's mad.
And Friday is a day where Joe has like a lesson in the morning and a lesson in the afternoon. And so the middle of the day is free. And she usually comes home for lunch. And I was like, this is perfect. Like, it turned up just before she was supposed to come home. And it was there when she came in. And I was like, this is...
Yeah.
Like, so excited, finally. Like, the fact that I'd waited 6 months and I'd called up the guy.
Got it in 2 days.
And got it in 2 days. It was absolutely ridiculous. And she was really excited. And we opened it up and it's in a guitar. It's in a soft, hard case guitar bag.
This is what I was going to... Because from what I've heard, if you buy a nice guitar like that, it comes with a case. That's not an add-on. Like,
he chucked in a set of spare strings as well for free
because they're not cheap.
No,
12 string guitar strings.
So 12 strings guitar strings.
12 strings guitar
strings on the seashore.
Yeah, exactly.
And so she opened it up and was really excited and got it out and was like, oh, it's a right-handed guitar. And the bottom fell out of me.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you sure? Because I was looking at it and I was like, it's not. It's left. It's got to be left. Because it has to be because that's what I asked for. And that's what he said he had.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it was right-handed. And honestly, I could have fucking cried.
Yeah.
Obviously, she was pretty disappointed as well, but kept a lid on it. But for me, this was the end of 6 months of fucking battling.
It's here. We're done.
And so I called Andy up straight away again and was like, it's me from yesterday. It's right-handed. And I asked for left-handed and he was like, you didn't say left-handed. I was like, I definitely said to you at the very beginning of our conversation, left-handed. And like, because we'd had this massive conversation in the meantime about like where it was and whether it was in the store and then about the UPS guy and all this. And what I, as a right-hander, don't realize is that you need to reiterate left hand quite a lot to people. Because Joe said this, she was like, because her dad's left-handed as well. And he's had this a couple of times in the past where he's bought a thing and said left-handed and then they've sold him a right hand. And
you
like,
need to get it implanted.
You need to kind of, you need to say left-handed a lot to these people. Because again, they're so used to selling standard right-handed guitars. But he was really apologetic as well and was like, right, I'm going to send you a shipping notice so that we can get it, back on Monday on the UPS. He was like, I'll have a look on the system as well. And like, he was saying that there are 24 on order.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, I know. And he's like, I don't know whether that means that they are being shipped right now or whether they are in the country or some are in the country and some are being shipped and whether or not the ones that are in the country are allocated for people. But I will try and find that out. But he was like, if not, if all of them are spoken for, I can try and go to my big boss and get this sorted for you, but that would mean you're jumping the queue. And so you could be waiting, you could be 25th in line, and this order goes out today, and you might not get it for 6 months.
And you were like,
and I was like, oh, okay, right. Well, we'll just have to deal with whatever you come back with then, won't we? Because like he bent over backwards for me a couple of times, and like was really, really helpful. And I was like, I'm not gonna fucking explode down the line like I have at Gear for Music. Because I was so happy telling Gear for Music to fucking do one as well. Yeah. I'd sent them an email in the meantime, the day before, being like, well, I've managed to get it through Martin now anyway, and cheaper than you were selling it. Yeah. So can't cancel my order. Because I'd kept it open just in case in the meantime. Because you do. So I cancelled the order with Gear for Music, and then I find out that I might have to wait another 6 months. And then if I go back onto Gear for Music, am I going to be put back onto? Do you know what I mean? Like, are they going to be bottom of the queue again? Yeah. So
are you on some sort of list now?
yeah. Am I blacklisted for calling them arseholes? And yeah, so that was that. And I put the phone down, and Joe went back to school,
dejected,
slightly dejected. I honestly felt like crying.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. Like,
it was horrible
because there was this relief, and excitement. To be shot back down again. Yeah,
it was fucking horrible. And then Andy phoned back and was like, "Right, I've been looking through some stuff. I've been looking through shipping orders, and ironically, Gear for Music had one delivered to them today." And I'm like, that doesn't help me. But he was like, another company, Guitar, they've got 3.
And that's really like tail between legs.
Yeah. And he was like, they've got 3, and that's really unusual. That's a large number of left-handed 12-string acoustic guitars, specifically this model. So either they've got them in because 3 people are waiting for them, and then he went, oh, it's on the website now as for sale, and it's cheaper than we do it. It's like £6. It wasn't.
Yeah. But still.
And I was like, he was like, you might want to go and give them a call now, really. And I just went onto the website and bought it.
Yeah.
And then panicked directly after I bought it, because I was like, fuck, is it really left-handed? Do you know when your mind is like, I was so racing.
Yeah, you went on, found it, brought it, and went, wait, shit, I didn't check if it was left-handed.
Did I definitely like click on left-handed, or did I like it said in the description left-handed, but I was still. Like, I went on and I put one of those little chat bots up and was like, I need to know that this guitar on this order is definitely left-handed.
Yeah.
And they were like, it's going to be delivered on Monday. It's definitely left-handed, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, that's great, because then I'm getting the one from here picked up and it will be a straight swap on Monday. Genius. But the problem was as well that I went back onto the website to check the make of the guitar to make sure it was left-handed, and it said available for order.
Oh, God.
And I was like, fuck. So like my whole thing was like, I've ordered something. Yeah. I need to know that it's definitely there and is going to be coming on the day that I asked for, which is Monday.
Yeah.
And it's left-handed. And they were like, yes, you've got the last one in stock, which is why it's gone. They were like, calm the fuck down, child.
I imagine what it was they got 3 in because 2 were on order and 1 was for stock.
Was for stock, yeah.
And
so they were like, you've got the last one. That's why it's gone back to available for order. It is left-handed and it has been packed. Yeah. And then yesterday morning, I got an email saying it's coming today. And so I got it yesterday.
Yeah.
And so, within 3 days, basically. And
so it wasn't supposed to be until tomorrow.
Yeah.
But actually, wow.
All the way from Newcastle as well.
Amazing.
Yeah. So it hasn't spent the entire weekend in a cold warehouse somewhere.
Which is great. Yeah.
Which is great. And it came with the same bag. but just not an extra set of strings.
Do you have to send the strings back as well?
Well, this is it, isn't it? Because they gave them to me for free. So do I take the strings out of the right-handed one?
It's always like, and also it's like, you did give me the runaround.
Yeah. But he was so nice. Like he gave me the heads up on this other company.
Yeah.
I mean, all the money probably goes to Martin anyway. I don't know how it works. Probably not though, right? I don't know. No, they've already paid for the guitar in the first place.
The cost.
Yeah.
But it's strange that he has the lowdown on where all of the guitars are.
Well, I suppose it's Martin, isn't it? So if Martin guitars have gone to, he was like, it's quite difficult to track down specific models, but I can tell where things have gone. And if I really think about what I'm typing into our search facility, I can find things. But so finally,
you've got it though.
Yeah.
And it's the right one.
Yeah, it's
left-handed.
She's played it, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, one of the other things as well is like tuning. How do you tune a 12-string guitar? Like,
it's the same tuning as a regular guitar, except that the top 4 strings are all in octaves. So it's E, A, D, D, G,
but
G.
each one's an octave.
Yeah. But then they're different gauge strings, so they're automatically octaves anyway.
Yeah, they would.
So you just tune them to E, A, D, G, and then the bottom, the higher
4 are all the same.
Yeah, they're all tuned to the same because you couldn't get thinner strings anyway.
No, that makes sense though. So it's like the low E,
the lower
E, but the second string that goes with the low E is the same as the bottom 2.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
I've been watching like guitar videos and shit, and I saw a guy, he strung his guitar with like 7 gauge strings, like really fucking hair thin strings, and he was able to bend 3 whole steps.
Wow.
With no issues at all. Really weird. But yeah, no, anyway.
You would think they would snap.
Games. Yeah, that's what he was worried about. Yeah, he managed to bend like the E string like 3 whole steps.
That's mad.
Yeah, it's bonkers. I also watched another one of his videos where he played Clapton's Slow Hands Sunburst Strat because it was up for auction for
really.
I think, yeah, it was up on the books for 1 to 1.5 million.
Fucking hell!
It didn't sell.
Right. Yeah. I think, maybe he's not factoring in his
recent
events.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's surprising though.
But by all accounts, the guitar was lovely to play and blah blah blah. And the last person to play it before this guy was Clapton himself, because the person who previously brought it at auction, I think in the 90s, didn't play. So they didn't play the guitar.
He just collected it.
So it had the same strings on. So the last person to use those strings on that guitar was Clapton. Wow. And then this guy played it.
That's pretty. That is pretty impressive, to be fair.
It's pretty special.
Yeah. Regardless of,
yeah.
Because it's the whole, it's the music, isn't it?
Yeah.
And sometimes you can, what do you call it? Separate the music from the performer.
Yeah, you do have to. You do have to sometimes.
I think to enjoy if you enjoy the music, then you've got to kind of, try, I guess, depending on how heinous.
But lost profits.
No, I feel sorry for them because, like, it's only the fucking singer.
Oh yeah.
Like, I feel sorry for all the other members of that band.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like,
if it's a group.
They were a great group.
Yeah. But do you listen to them anymore?
No.
That's what I mean. It's like, I think that's what you were just about to say.
But
it depends how heinous the crime is.
That's fucking heinous.
So that's why you can't support the band.
Yeah.
Yes, you feel
equally,
for the guys.
You can't deny that, like, the best part in the film The Joker was the Gary Glitter song, or the Glitter Band song, should we say? Down the steps, rock and roll part 1 or part 2.
Yeah.
But again, that's credited to the Glitter Band now. He doesn't get any royalties for that. So is it okay to enjoy that song again? You know.
And but it's one of those things. It's like I'm not enjoying that song in my spare time. I'm not sticking it on. I'm enjoying it in the context of the film.
Yeah. I mean,
I wonder if it was a very, very deliberate choice to use.
Well, it was song. It means a different thing in America, doesn't it? It's a song that's played during sports games, which they have no real.
They're not really aware.
Yeah, it's not. Gary Glitter was never a big thing in America, but for some reason that song has become part of a sporting culture.
Yeah.
In the same way, I guess that what was it when England scored a try yesterday, and it's used in the football as well. It's like a Ibiza trance song originally.
It sounds familiar, yeah.
I can't remember the name of the song now. No. But yeah, that's good. And in the way that Seven Nation Army was co-opted by football as well at some point.
Yeah.
Over the last few years.
Yeah, because I was thinking maybe it was a very, very deliberate choice for that character to have. I mean,
it's odd that, like, from a British audience point of view, like, I remember when I was in the cinema watching it, I was kind of stomping along to it, and then was like, "Fuck, this is Glitter."
Yeah.
Like, what? And then, like, there's an extra element of unease about the choice of that song in the moment, and you're like, but yeah, it means something else in the US.
For sure. Yeah.
But it makes the film darker in the UK.
Yeah. So, yeah, like you were saying, the biggest struggle you've had recent times is that guitar. My biggest struggle in the last couple of weeks is COVID.
Yeah. You've come down with it.
I got it. Yeah, after sort of like bitching and moaning at people not being careful and shit like that.
You went back to work, right?
I think our last thing was, no, we've got to take chances, we've got to get on with it. And then, boom. Yeah, I think I made that comment, and then I kept making the joke, well, COVID's over now, didn't you know? And then I got it. It's my own fault. Yeah, I've no idea where I picked it up from. So, like, the only places it really could have been was the weekend before was our gigs.
Yeah.
But nobody else at the gigs came down with it. As far as we know. Like, none of our group of friends.
Yeah.
On the Friday, I went to the pub after work with some colleagues. Only one other person there got it.
Right.
The other 6 didn't. And that was it.
Okay.
Went to the cinema on the Sunday. What did we watch?
Foo Fighters, Studio 666.
Oh, yeah. Yes, because we had... No, so that was the Saturday, because we spoke about it on the Sunday.
Yeah.
But on the Sunday night, because I know I was going to the office the next day, I tested and I was negative. I felt rubbish at work all day, and then tested when I got home, and then it came positive. So
it's unlikely that it was from work. They're the only
places I went. Was either work.
On cue.
Was either work, the pub, or our gigs. But nobody else around got it. So I'm not really sure, because I'm not climbing. I mean, the gym as well. I mean, it could have been the gym, but I think when I went to the gym, I was with Liz, and that was it. Like, not really near anyone else. So it may have been someone in one of the lockers, like the changing rooms, or.
This is the thing. Like, when you start going back into society in the way that we are, it's difficult to pinpoint where you can have picked it up from. And I mean, I would doubt it was from the gig, because neither Corky or I or any of our families and friends, like you say, came down with it.
The only other person that did was Liz and Chloe, but they live with me, and they came down with it after me. So but I mean, thankfully, I didn't suffer too bad with it at all. Like, the cough was really frustrating, and it still comes back, and I've still got like the phlegmy sort of head cold. I did lose my taste for 2 days, I think.
Right.
That was a very odd experience. Because it was weird. The way I describe it, and it's like if I had something sweet, I knew it was sweet, but I couldn't taste it.
Right.
If I had something sour, I knew it was sour, but I couldn't taste it. Like tea and coffee felt different to drink.
Yeah.
They're both warm drinks, but I could tell one was bitter and one wasn't.
Okay.
Like if I had a pack of roast, like say it's smoky bacon crisps, they'd have that feel about them that they were smoky bacon. Like if I had a pack of smoky bacon, a pack of cheese and onion, I would know they were different.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't know why. Like I couldn't taste it.
Yeah, yeah.
It felt different. Like it was
it's
a different
more kind
sensation.
of psychosomatic thing. Like, you know, it should taste this way.
Yeah, it was really, really weird. So, but because it was only 2 days, I never got like, you know, people that lose their taste and like, oh, you know, it's so depressing. It's so like really boring and food's really. For me, it was like, because it was only 2 days, it was just interesting. It was like, this is really weird. This is weird. Like it never got boring.
Yeah.
Like, so it was interesting to me, you know, so it didn't really upset me too much. But yeah. But other than that, like I was fine. I mean, I tested positive for longer.
Right.
I think it was 11 days.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, it was on the 12th day I got my first negative test.
Yeah, because I was surprised when you said about having your first negative test, and I was like, hold on, haven't you had this for like a week?
It's 12 days. 11 days I was testing positive for. I mean, like the last few days were like very, very, very faint lines.
Yeah. But
for me, like my own, what am I going to say? My own conscience, I suppose. Yeah, thank you. I wanted to just still isolate, even though there was barely anything there, because I didn't want to risk passing it on. Yeah, Liz and Chloe, 7 days, 8 days, you tested positive. She's just counting. 7 days, Liz tested positive, and she suffered with it really bad, and she still is now.
Oh, so bless her.
Liz and Chloe both got it worse than me.
But for a shorter period of time.
Well, I mean, they're still suffering now. But
are they negative now?
They're negative now, though. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but they tested negative before me.
Right.
Even though they tested positive after me. Like,
how strange.
I was contagious for a lot longer.
Yeah, yeah.
But I didn't suffer as much. But the interesting thing is, as well, is Liz and Chloe got worse side effects from the vaccine than I did.
Right. And this is what we've been saying for the last 2 years, isn't it? Like, it's all about chemicals and it's about the individual, and like there is no one way of catching it, and there's no one way of really treating it, I guess, and one way of experiencing it. Yeah,
but it is odd. Like I say, it is odd that they suffered more with the vaccine and suffered more with the virus itself. But on the other hand, it could be that their body is so efficient at fighting the virus that it just attacks everything so quickly, gets rid of it, that they feel absolute shit, but they get rid of it quicker.
Yeah, perhaps.
So, biology is great, man. You know, I've been working at home. I was getting a bit stir crazy, even though I am an introvert.
Yeah, but when it's that thing about lockdown, isn't it? When you're forced to stay in, it becomes a psychological barrier where you're like, I need to get out. I fucking hate it, like being locked up. Yeah. How interesting.
If I could go out, if I was able to go out, I'd be quite happy not going out for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And staying at home. Because I can't.
Yeah. Yeah. How interesting that, like, it's the same thought process, isn't it? Even after 2 years, like, we were like, well, we know why we're feeling this way. But it still doesn't make it any easier to
so
deal
odd.
with.
But yeah, you know, it's been interesting. It's been shit. Like Chloe, just to sort of put it into perspective how like amazing Chloe is. Yes, I'm biased, but on, I want to say Thursday or Friday, might have been Friday actually. Yeah, that's when I tested negative, wasn't it? On Friday, Chloe obviously hasn't seen her girlfriend for all this time, and she's starting to really want to see her and getting upset, and we weren't sure if she was positive. No, that might have been Thursday actually. I can't remember now. It was Thursday. Anyway, so she was getting upset because she, you know, if I still tested positive, she still can't see her girlfriend, and sort of really crying and getting really upset, actually crying. Yet I said, "Oh, I tested negative," and despite like through her tears and her being upset, she got excited for me and gave me a high five. Like, despite the fact she was like really unhappy and sad, she was still happy for me. It's,
bless her.
you know, it's one of those moments where I was just like,
she's proud dad moment.
The best. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
But it's sad because she's putting other people before herself, which is a bad thing as well sometimes.
But in this case, not.
No, this case
say,
it's fine,
like, like, and as well, as long as she's picking and choosing when she's doing that,
that's
and
good.
Looking after herself at the same time, like,
But thankfully, because I tested negative on Friday and I tested negative on Saturday, as did she tested negative Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Like, she's actually gone to her girlfriend's now. She went yesterday,
cool.
So she's happy now.
Nice one. All's well that ends well.
Yeah. Although Liz is, as you can hear,
up on
the sofa still.
Bless her.
Yeah. That's it. Like, she's feeling rough and she's still displaying symptoms, but she's negative. So, and the government says that's all right.
Yeah.
Well, it's long COVID, isn't it? A lot of people still suffering the symptoms like months after they test negative. So,
yeah. Well, I suppose fingers crossed then that this passes quickly.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm sure it will do as well. Yeah. Terrified our neighbour when we went out for a walk yesterday, though. And started coughing.
Had they known that you were quarantined?
Yeah. So I did see. Like I said, because I saw the neighbour first. She's like, "How are you?" So we're getting there. You know, it's going to be our first trip out since we got COVID, but we're both negative now, so we're risking it, seeing how we fare. She's like, "Oh, bless you," and Liz comes out coughing her guts. I was just like,
Everyone suddenly masks up.
Yeah. But
again, I suppose in those situations, it's down to, like, you know, you guys to be wearing the masks when you're out and about, in, you know, even if it's a cold or whatever. Like, this is the thought process now for me is, like, whenever I get a cold or start showing symptoms of anything, even if I'm presenting as negative, I might as well wear a mask to reduce
people's immune systems are shot to shit. Because of the last 2 years in isolation, people's immune systems aren't as strong as they were. So just a little cold could really knock someone for six. So,
I mean, I got one in 2021 for the first time since 2019, and it was a cold. It was just the sniffles, but it really, like, hammered home how crap my immune system is now, because I felt like shit. And it was only the sniffles.
Yeah, I think we all sort of got a cold around the same time, like when lockdown first ended, and we sort of went out and were testing the waters, and that first cold was just horrific. I mean, if in all honesty, I think that first cold that I got was worse than the COVID I got. But again, vaccines.
Science.
Mad.
Yeah.
Fuck knows what it would have been like without the vaccine, like how much we would have suffered. Yeah, I don't think Liz would have made it out of bed.
No.
To be fair. It's odd. Breathlessness as well is a weird one. Like, not to the point where I'm like doubled over and sort of like hyperventilating, can't catch my breath, but like walking upstairs to go to the toilet, like I'm getting more out of breath than I normally would.
Reduced lung capacity, like
pretty much, yeah. Like I do have to take a few deep breaths, talking for long periods of time as well.
Right,
I can feel it.
You can feel it coming on. Right,
I can feel I'm having to
yawn.
Pause and take deep breaths, but that's because of me imitating the fucking breathlessness.
Yeah.
It's a weird feeling. Like I'm debating whether to risk the gym tomorrow or not, just to try and test it out. Maybe go for a walk on the treadmill, see how that does.
Just take it easy, I guess, because you don't want to overdo things if you're not at full capacity. It's the same with anything, though, isn't it? You know, you don't fancy, if you're getting over any kind of illness, you don't really fancy doing full-on workouts, but especially if it's something that's, attacked your respiratory system as well.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And when I do go to the gym, when I do exercise, like if my heart rate does increase quite quickly. So obviously I need to be careful of that. So
yeah,
it'll be fine. But yeah, I might not. I'm not sure yet. I might go after work. I don't know. We'll see how the day fares.
Just be careful.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
for sure. But yeah, it's such a weird, because it's different. It's not like, because everyone's like, oh, it's just a cold. It's not. It's so different. Like it attacks so many different parts of your body. Like you say, your respiratory system, your heart, your fucking, it gives you like a cold. Actually, like I was getting this weird, like almost like a prickly heat, like stinging across my back. Like my skin started to sort of, it was painful.
Yeah,
like,
I know what you mean.
It's like, when you get like really dry skin and your clothes are like, you got a really itchy it was like that feeling on my back.
Wow.
That was a weird one as well. But yeah, a lot of people get muscle aches and like just pain all throughout. It's just such an odd virus to get. But I've had it. Thankfully, I didn't get it too bad. There's that element of guilt with my family, because I brought it home to them from somewhere.
What can you do though? Especially
we've got nowhere to isolate in my house.
Yeah, that's it.
We don't have a spare room.
And then what would you do? Like isolate yourself in the front room, which other people need to come through. Like you say, there's nowhere. House, yeah. What are you going to do? Go in the bedroom, shed?
But am I going to make Liz sleep on the sofa?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I can isolate in Chloe's room, but then that puts the virus in her room. What's she going to sleep in our room? Like a teenager needs her own space. I've got nowhere. Like there is nowhere for us to go. Like, we could go in the shed. There's a commode in there at the minute. So.
But also, I suppose it's like I don't know whether it's like a common cold where you're most contagious before you show symptoms.
Yeah, exactly.
But so in that case,
I think you're contagious up to 2 days before you show symptoms, aren't you? But yeah, that feeling when I got home from the office and tested positive, and I'm like, fuck. And now I have to let everyone know at work. Yeah. And I know there's an email going out around the whole office. Like somebody was in the office today, they tested positive when they got home.
Please test yourselves and blah blah blah. Yeah,
it's that anxiety now of walking in the office and everyone's like, I haven't seen him for ages. You know what I mean?
I would imagine not many people actually feel that way. It's really, I think most right-thinking people are like, well, it happens, isn't it? Like I've resigned myself. Probably when I started playing music again back in October of last year, that I was probably going to get it at some point from a gig.
Everyone is.
Yeah. And so like, I've just kind of carrying on with the fitness regime, trying to keep my body as healthy as possible, while also not being overly cautious. Like I have stopped wearing masks in shops again.
Yeah.
I probably would wear them on public transport, perhaps. I don't know.
Yeah, we do. When we go up to London, we do wear a mask on the train. If it's busy, like obviously if it's not particularly busy, mask comes off. But if there's people,
it's just about common sense, isn't it? And how you feel about things.
Yeah.
Right. And this has been how it's been for a while anyway, really. Yeah, I think it's just you can be as careful as you can be, but at some point you're going to get it.
Yeah.
And, luckily we've seen through yourselves that we will get through it.
It doesn't always it's not going to fucking...
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's not going to kill you because it will with some people, unfortunately. But, and like I've seen two, not extremes of it, but I've seen two versions of it in my house where I was like, this sucks. I'm out of breath, I'm tired. Can't taste shit for 2 days. And then I got better. Whereas Liz is sort of like, obviously Liz and Chloe got a bit worse than me.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, my mum had it. My mum, and this is the thing. My mum, who's is she I don't think she's
immunosuppressed.
Yeah, I'm not sure if she is, but she's got a huge immunocompromise. So yeah, she's got a lot of health conditions and stuff like that, and she got COVID before the vaccine, like just before lockdown started. She went to the O2 just as it was sort of picking up speed, and I'm pretty sure she caught it, and she suffered horrifically with it, but survived. You know what I mean? Like, some people will get it a hell of a lot worse. You know, I don't want to downplay it and go, yeah, it's fine. It was nothing. I don't know what people are worried about, because I got lucky and I saw that it can affect people worse, you know. Yeah. And Liz is just as healthy as me. You know, she goes to the gym more than me, really. And she walks a lot, like, on her lunch breaks and stuff like that. I don't. Yeah. I'm a lazy fuck. You know.
As you say, it's all about chemicals, isn't it? It's chemicals and biology, and it will find something to latch onto. But yeah, I guess it's a fact of life at the moment, isn't it? Yeah. So, you know, but glad to hear that you're all out the other end of it. Sorry to hear that Liz is still suffering, of course. And hopefully she gets better soon.
For sure. Yeah. I'm risking the office tomorrow. We'll see what happens. People will be giving me wide berth, no doubt.
Yeah, I was at a gig. I played another gig with Swamp Stomper on Friday night, and I'm still kind of like, there's a bit of a tickly throat. There's a bit of a cough.
Not sure, yeah.
And I'm like, I'm not going to test myself until Monday.
As soon as that first cough comes.
Yeah. But it's like every single, but they're not making these tests free anymore, are they? Like, you can't get, luckily we've stocked up on them because Jo's a teacher and she gets loads of them.
Well, we've been ordering them every 3 days between us.
Oh, right.
You can order them you can order a box every 3 days.
Yeah.
Every person in the house can. So we've been ordering them. So we've got a stockpile. Obviously we went through like 3 boxes, I think.
Yeah, sure. Because you got to test every day.
7. Yeah, you get 7 in a box, and obviously there's 3 of us test. Liz and Chloe actually went and did a PCR test. I didn't.
Right.
They went and had a PCR test, and they got a positive result. So for the first 5 days, they didn't test. Because once you've had your positive PCR, you can't end isolation until after 5 days. So there's not much point in testing. So it's from the 5th day was when they started testing. And the rules are, after that 5th day, you start testing, and you need to get 2 consecutive negative results to end isolation before 10 days. And I think after 10 days, you just end isolation if you're still testing positive, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, I know.
We weren't going to do that at all. But yeah.
Just strikes me as massively...
I was tested every day.
Just strikes me as massively irresponsible to do that. You know, go back into work even though you're testing positive. Like, fuck off.
It's been 10 days, so
Yeah.
But yeah, it's those 10 days when you're most contagious, I think. So
yeah, but I've got my first gig in London in 2 weeks' time as well, so that'll be another test.
That nice Swamp Stomper.
It's a memorial gig for someone who was kind of in that scene. Who's friends with a lot of people in the promotion circuit and stuff, who caught COVID. Died last year, but obviously I haven't been able to play this thing until recently. Like, we had to stop because, again, it wasn't... it kind of peaked again during the winter, didn't it? I think he died back in September or something. Maybe November, the back end of last year.
Yeah, I think it sort of, if someone dies of COVID, then having a memorial gig when the numbers are peaking.
It wasn't a good
kind of disingenuous, isn't it?
Yeah. So that's in 2 weeks' time, and then I've got another one that's at the Hope and Anchor. And then we're playing the Water Rats. Hope and Anchor's up near kind of it's kind of north-ish London. Like loads of bands started out there. Madness started out there, and like loads of.
So it's a place I've heard of. The Hope Anchor.
Small little kind of basement room in this pub, but brilliant stage and PA. And then I think June or July we're playing the Water Rats, which is another one of these places with like a back room with a massive stage, which we're supporting Wolfsbane, who their lead singer was the singer in Iron Maiden before Bruce Dickinson.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I can't remember his name. Like you've seen the poster, like Wolfsbane is on one of the big posters in Death, the studios that we rehearse in.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, and then who knows if High Frequency will have played another gig in between times as well. Possibly.
Yeah, we've got one. Have we got one booked?
Penciled in.
Yeah,
it's been penciled in for a while.
Bit of an odd one. Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, I totally forgot about that. Fucking hell. Yeah. No, I was thinking of the one that you were messaging us about the other day.
Oh, no,
that's not within the meantime, is it?
Yeah, that's August, isn't it? So we do actually have another gig booked. So, yeah. We'll find out about that as well in the next couple of months, I would imagine.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Which stage we're playing on and which time.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe we get a name for ourselves in the meantime and get us pushed further and further up the bill.
Yeah. Who knows? I'll be looking around. Don't you worry about that. No. So it's an interesting time to be alive at the moment. There's part of me that is like putting more and more credence into that conspiracy theory that back in 2016 or whenever they turned on the Large Hadron Collider that we've slipped into a different dimension, like the bizarro world where Brexit is allowed to happen and Trump is allowed to happen and a virus decimates the planet and then war happens for the first time in Europe for nearly 100 years.
Someone's flipped the switch on the simulation.
Yeah. They've gone into like berserk mode. Yeah.
But on the back of all of this shit, the podcast theme tune is finally getting written. The full song.
Yeah. The theme song that's been our theme song for 8 years, possibly more. Less.
The first year.
We introed with random songs, didn't we?
It wasn't even a year, I don't think, was it? Yeah,
we
were introing with YouTube covers, weren't we?
Yeah.
Like weird YouTube covers.
Yeah. And then it was the Nerd Church version.
Oh, fuck, yeah.
For a while.
Yeah.
So maybe it's only been 7 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
But it's finally...
finally we'll have a full, because we were always supposed to have written the entire thing and then we just never got round to it,
which I quite like, because I think and the idea, because I wrote some lyrics way back in the day that was more about like I think we had this discussion, didn't we, where I was sort of aiming it more at mental health and stuff, whereas actually now the lyrics are aimed towards more about what this podcast started about. Was like, the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Just more of a screaming at the fucking world.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. It'll be good. I like it. I'm looking forward to actually with us getting together and working on it.
Yeah.
So
definitely. Yeah. I don't think Corky's got that many weekends free though, has he? So it's going to be a bit of a...
It'll be difficult. But I mean, that's only one song, isn't it? Like there's 4 or 5 on the go, isn't
there? Yeah. I've got a couple on the go myself. So.
Oh, you've got a few as well? Oh, you're keeping them close to your chest?
Only because I haven't really... Like I've got...
Be a bit busy.
Ideas... I haven't written down fully, and like there I know what I want to do, but I haven't done it.
I suppose the other thing as well is you've got 3 bands that could potentially. So you need to, like, if you're writing songs, you need to think, where do these fit? Which band?
Yeah. I mean, I intend to write songs for the others. Obviously, like I was going to be, and then the whole thing with Sham 69 kind of it's ground to a halt. But now the singer is going to go out to Ukraine, so who knows what the hell is going to happen there? How long he's going to be out there, I don't know. So yeah, I don't know what's going on there necessarily. So I haven't even started writing anything in relation to them. Paul is the main songwriter for Swamp Stomper, but I have written the occasional bass line.
They're very different sounds as well for each of them.
They are, yeah.
Quite cool. So you could, like, I suppose you could sit down with the intention of writing for this band, that band, or the other. Like,
yeah. Like I know what I want to do with the songs that I've got ideas for High Frequency. One of them I want to make quite upbeat musically, but quite dark vocal. Well, not dark, but maybe scathing. Yeah.
Oh, scathing. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, scathing. Yeah.
Aimed at an individual or a company?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah. No anyone would actually know.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
It's a personal thing.
Yeah, very,
ironically,
very
it's aimed at gear for music.
Yeah, fuck those guys. Yeah, no, it's cool. As I say, it's a funny time to be alive at the moment, isn't it? There's a lot of weird.
Actually, you say, like, with the last Hadron Collider thing, like, Brexit happened, Donald Trump happened. I suppose Boris Johnson actually got into power as well. You could probably put that there. I suppose that was inevitable at some point. You got the global pandemic, you got the war in Russia, High Frequency writing new songs.
Yeah.
What a weird time.
Yeah. And this podcast will finally get a theme tune with words and lyrics and drums and
real drums.
We'll more than likely stick it up as a kind of, Patreon download. I would imagine
that's what I was thinking.
When it's recorded,
sort of
that's the other
streams,
thing as well,
isn't it? That thing.
Yeah.
Do the patrons get a demo version? Do they get an early version?
Because I think I would like to record again.
Drums is going to, like, with us, it's fairly simple to record. Like I've got the little fucking box that I record with, like, for this. I just stick my guitar straight through that, like with my effects pedal.
I assume I can use my desk, but
because it's it works as like a DI, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Essentially, what I've got is a recording desk. It's just like it's
the little box thing, isn't it? Yeah, the podcasting desk. Yeah.
Essentially, it's just a small version of what you've got. It's you can use that for sure. I mean, we could use that to record drums in theory. But they wouldn't be on separate tracks, and obviously it's mic in each drum up would be difficult. But thankfully we know people. But I suppose I'm sure there's places we could go and record. Like we could get the guitar shit down, and we could just, like, literally book studio time just to record the drums.
True. Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, these are all behind.
These are long. This is a long way off. This is a long way off.
We're getting very, very ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all exciting. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
A lot.
For sure.
So yeah.
Anyway. You said a little while ago about things grinding to a halt.
Yeah, this podcast appears to be going that way. But yeah, so as I say, interesting times. Not sure what the fuck's going on with the world as ever, but glad to know that you are okay and your family. And I'm sure that's the same for the listeners as well.
Yeah.
Because, but yeah. So until next time, I've been Tom,
and I've been Ant. Bye.
I'm just going to stop it. There's no end to this, so I'm just going to stop it.
I held on to that.